Rock stars, Eric Andreas, your Guitar Sage here to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes that guitarists make when they're learning how to play the guitar. So if you watched any of my videos, you know I've been teaching for over 30 years now. I've taught thousands of lessons, and these are the ones, these 5 mistakes I've seen come up over and over and over again over the years. So listen up, okay? Take these to heart. Don't fall into this trap, okay? Number 1. I find that guitarists, in the beginning, they get a cheap guitar, an economy guitar, which is not the end of the world, okay? It's not the end of the world. But with an economy guitar, if it's not set up properly, the strings will typically be further off the neck, and that becomes a problem. Now, the tone of the guitar, it not being a $10,000 guitar, if it's a $200 guitar, that part is okay. But the part where it doesn't play very well can be the Achilles heel to a new student, because no matter how good or their intent that they have, they're still going to have this problem with the strings being too high off the neck, because in the beginning your hands are not very strong and you don't have the proper technique. So the smallest of movements becomes a real pain, literally, in your fingers, and you feel like you're not cut out for it because of such things, okay? So number 1, my advice to you to remedy that would be, if you're gonna buy a cheap guitar or an expensive guitar, make sure that it's at least set up properly by a local luthier, a local guitar repair person. If you don't have somebody like that, or you're on a budget, then I would implore you to have somebody set it up, or get on YouTube and learn how to set it up, because it really matters how your guitar is set up, okay? So that's number 1, improper guitar setup. Number 2, most guitar players, when they're just starting off, most people, they bite off way more than they can chew. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be a mistake, but oftentimes it becomes a mistake because, number 1, you have way too much frustration. There's enough frustration that comes in learning guitar, especially if you're not following a step-by-step path like I teach in my courses. If you don't have that and you're just jumping around on YouTube, jumping around at different videos, then sometimes that can be frustrating. But we're trying to limit the frustration, because there's going to be some frustration. But what I mean by biting off more than they can chew is, a new guitar player will, take air guitar and what have you, and they're like, I can move my fingers fast. And there's this sense of that guitar is so easy because you're not lifting weights. If you see some guy lifting, bench pressing 500 pounds, you can go, well, I can't do that. But if you see some skinny guy wailing away on the guitar just doing this, well, you can pick up a guitar and do that, and it looks the same, but it's not the same, because there's a lot of accuracy going on with that skinny guy, Yngwie Malmsteen, who you were talking about. That's 80s Yngwie Malmsteen, not 2000s Yngwie Malmsteen. Okay, he's a great guitar player, one of my favorite guitar players, but he's not skinny anymore. Okay, so biting off more than one can chew is very, it's a kiss of death, because what happens is this. Remember, especially in the beginning, at anything that we do, we have to believe that we can do something, okay? Number 1, let me tell you, I don't just say this, I mean it, because I've never seen it not be true. If you want to be like Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen, you can be, but you have to at least practice as much as they did, if not more, okay? And you need the right resources. You need to be taught. You need to have the bits and pieces, okay? So biting off more than you chew, don't do it. Don't take some, if you're just starting off and you're like, I'm gonna learn Crazy Train, the first song. Well, it's probably not a first song that you want to learn, okay? Get to know the guitar a bit first before you do that, okay? So try not to bite off more than you can chew. Use the chunking, looping method that I talk about in my videos. I think I might even have that video here on YouTube. Just search YourGuitarSage chunking, okay? That idea of taking smaller bits and pieces and learning those first and then gluing them all together, okay? Number 3, they think they're not talented enough, as if you're born with this. Now, I say that, and I know at least half the people out there are like, you are born with this. I'm gonna say it right now. And here's why I know that is because If you were born with it, then not only would you come out of your mom's womb with an SG, wailing away, you know? No, it doesn't work that way. You don't come out of your mom's womb playing the guitar. Neither do you have a talent starting off. Now, with that being said, there are some people whose minds tend to be more focused and that sort of thing. And yeah, we could talk about those things as being variables. But the number one variable that I've found that keeps people in the game is drive. It's just desire. That's all it is. It's an easy thing. And that's something that you might say is given. You know, if you don't desire, I don't desire to be an accountant. So I can say that that might have been something that was given, but I don't desire it, so I'm not going to be a good accountant. I do desire to play guitar, so the more that I desire it, the more I'm going to pick the instrument up. It's a big duh, right? But a lot of people don't realize this. I have a video called Talent versus Practice here on YouTube, and I talk about this in detail. If you want to check that out, just type in YourGuitarSage talent, okay? By the way, a lot of these things I'm talking about, I've got a resource for you, okay, so if you're interested in knowing more. Okay, so yeah, they think they're not talented. Don't buy into that myth. If you want to be a mediocre or sucky guitar player or be mediocre or bad at anything that you do, then definitely believe in the talent versus practice myth. Believe that you need talent and not practice, okay? Or if you want to be mediocre, then think you need some talent and not and some practice. If you want to be a fantastic player, don't believe that you need talent. Get your ass playing that guitar, okay? So the more you practice, the better you become, and talent will happen. It will blossom because you're practicing, okay? But no one's born with it, okay? So that's number 3. Number 4, setting unrealistic short-term goals, okay? What I mean by this is a lot of times people say, okay, I want to become the best blues guitar player there is out there. I want to become that, okay? Okay, that's a great long-term goal. Or if you're living in Nashville here, maybe you say, I want to play a live gig with some major artist. That's a great long-term goal. Or I'm going to become a studio player and make money playing guitar in the studio. Great long-term goals. But the short-term goals are either not there or they're unrealistic, okay? So, for instance, a new guitar player may come in and they're like, I want to be able to play blues. I want you to show me how to play blues. Now, I don't have a lot of time to practice, but I want you to show me how to play blues. Show me the tricks. And, well, gosh, if it were that easy, just showing you some tricks and you're not going to practice much, then we'd all be great guitar players, wouldn't we? So there is an amount of dedication that's involved. And once if you can bust through the beginning stages of playing guitar, then you have enough to look behind you and to say, hey, I remember when I couldn't play that, but now I can. Or I remember when I couldn't do that, now I can. Trust me in this. I've gone through the process as well as all of my students. They've gone through this process where they say, well, that's impossible. I can't play an F chord, or I can't play that scale, or I can't play that fast. Well, you can't today because you hadn't practiced enough. What kind of rules would we be working with if all of a sudden you could do it just because I showed it to you one time, right? So set realistic short-term goals. If you're going to sit down and practice today, maybe you say, I'm going to practice for an hour. I'm going to practice my blues scales for an hour. That's a realistic goal. To say, I'm going to play the solo for Stairway to Heaven and you've only been playing a week, that's an unrealistic goal. So set realistic goals that you can get to. Maybe they're slightly out of reach, but you'll get good at setting these goals. You'll get better at it, and you'll set some really good goals. Okay, number 5. This is the number one thing. I should have put this as number 1, but I put it at the end here because I want to emphasize it. Guitar players, they don't take the time for these foundational bits and pieces, okay? What I mean by that is this. They'll go straight into learning Smoke on the Water or some fun song, and that's okay. But what happens is they lose sight of the basics, like the basic picking technique, the basic fretting technique, learning basic music theory, learning a basic strum, learning how to tune their guitar right, like these basic things that you're going to use 10 million times until the day you die as a guitar player. In fact, The core, if you just know the core of playing guitar, it literally will serve you in any genre, on any guitar, in any year, on any song for the rest of your life. So learn the essentials, learn the basics, and get really good at those. Stop looking at the stuff that's so complicated. If you haven't learned the simple stuff, you don't deserve to learn the big stuff. Sorry, I'm not coming down on you. That's just the truth. Don't try to jump to that stuff. Don't let your ego tell you, well, I know that I'm a guitar god and I can skip over that stuff. No, you can't. Hendrix didn't and Eddie Van Halen did not. So if they didn't, we can't. Okay, those were the top-notch guys, right? Along with Eric Clapton and all the rest. So very, very, very important that you learn the basics. Okay, my friends. Now in fact, I have. If you hit the link below, I've got a free course for you. The first 30 lessons, and it is jam-packed with these lessons that I'm talking about. These foundational, cornerstone lessons. If you don't know how to pick right, if you're holding your hand wrong, if you're have the wrong posture when you're approaching the guitar, a myriad of other things that are foundational. If you don't build this up step by step, it's so much harder. Do you have to have that? Nope, you don't. You can just jump right into learning Crazy Train. But what happens is, and this is what I've learned, is most people will bail out because they start thinking about the myth, because they have an unrealistic goal, because they're biting off more than they can chew, because they don't have the resources, because they're skipping over the basics, because they have a guitar that's not set up well, and they just jump into it right away, okay? I understand the desire to do that, because I get that all the time. I start a new workout routine, I go to the gym, and I grab these weights that are out of my league, and I'm pumping iron, I feel great, and then I go home the next day and I'm beat up because I didn't ease into it. And there's no honor in that, okay? It's just ego. So try not to let that ego tell you to just go full force. If you want to go full force with time. So instead of spending 15 minutes a day on the guitar, spend 8 hours on the day. 8 hours on the guitar a day if you can. If your ego's telling you're so good, do that. Spend more time on the instrument. Get it? I promise you, you're going to see massive results by taking that energy and putting it into time on the guitar, as opposed to jumping ahead, okay? My friends, I'm here to help you. Please let me know how I can help. If you think I might have forgotten a mistake, please leave that information below. We're a community here and we help each other out. So there's a good chance that I have forgotten, especially since I only mentioned 5. There's plenty of other mistakes that guitarists can make when they're just learning the guitar. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Snapchat, and all those places, and I do attend to comments very often there. I give thousands of dollars worth of great guitars and equipment away every single month, and live broadcasts. YourGuitarSage.com/live. Go there, sign up. I'm going to let you know my next broadcast. I just sent out in the mail today a $1,500 guitar to a student of mine for free because he won in a broadcast that I just did on Saturday where I was teaching how to navigate the fretboard and what have you. So I have tons of fun stuff for you. Hit that subscribe button, share, my friends, and as always, well, first, make sure you visit that link, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Do that now. If you do anything for your guitar playing, hit that link and join that free program. It will help you immensely. The top 30 lessons that I teach all my students here in Nashville, or come visit me here in Nashville. We'll sit in my studio. You'll spend a lot of time and a lot of money, but I'll be teaching you one-on-one. Otherwise, same exact lessons at YourGuitarSage.com/30, there for you for free. As always, my friends, be kind to all beings. Don't trust the man. Practice your guitar. See ya.